Hello everyone, welcome back to 3 News Now. This is your afternoon update for Monday, July 20th. I'm Stephanie Haney. We've got all the top headlines for you from WKYC.com and our WKYC app. The things that we're going to talk about this afternoon include the latest numbers from the Ohio Department of Health related to COVID-19 here in Ohio, incredible medical news from the Cleveland Clinic, what our Cleveland baseball team manager Terry Francona's son has to say about a possible name change and changes that need to happen with our Major League Baseball team here in Northeast Ohio, and a reminder of what happened on this day 51 years ago. So you can be thinking about that while we're talking about some of the other things that are topping the headlines right now, plus a very cool update that you're going to want to know about related to our WKYC app. Okay, let's get started with those latest COVID-19 numbers coming in from the Ohio Department of Health. Here in Ohio, the cases are back up today after dropping yesterday, and the deaths are down, but the new reported deaths are not in the single digits. We saw several days last week with new daily reported deaths in the single digits. That is not the case today after a high number of new deaths reported yesterday. Also, hospitalizations and ICU admissions are up. Now, here's a quick reminder of why we are tracking these numbers on a day-to-day basis, because what we are looking for, according to what medical experts have said, is a 14-day trend. We want to see a trend in those numbers going down over a period of 14 days, which is something, unfortunately, that we have not seen happening here in Northeast Ohio. So let's get into the specific numbers right now. The total number of confirmed COVID-19 cases now in the state of Ohio, this is dating all the way back to March 9th when we first learned about coronavirus being here, is now 76,168. And today we saw 1,236 new cases reported of COVID-19 in the last 24 hours. The number of presumed recovered cases is now 51,860. So that is about 68% of the total cases that we've known about here in the state of Ohio. That also means that 32% of those cases are active right now, according to the Ohio Department of Health. Our positivity rating, the most up-to-date number on that, is 6.4%. Now, that's down from yesterday when it was 6.8%, but the World Health Organization's recommended threshold is 5%. So that means out of all the testing that we're doing for COVID-19, 6.4% of those tests are coming back positive as of today. Our 7-day rolling average is at 6.3%, which is still above that World Health Organization recommended 5% threshold. The total number of deaths related to COVID-19 here in Ohio is now 3,189. We saw 15 new deaths reported in the last 24 hours. That's down from yesterday when we saw 42 new deaths reported. The new hospitalizations, however, are up. We saw 55 new hospitalizations in the last 24 hours. That's up from 42 new hospitalizations yesterday. That brings the total number of people in the state of Ohio who have been hospitalized related to COVID-19 to 9,610. And there are now 1,065 people currently hospitalized related to COVID-19. So that's just over 11% of people who have been hospitalized are actually actively hospitalized right now. Yesterday, within the last 24 hours, we saw 29 new ICU admissions, which is up from just 4 that we saw on Sunday. And there are currently 318 people who are right now in the ICU. So that's about 30% of all people who are hospitalized need treatment in the intensive care unit right now related to COVID-19. And the total number of people who have been admitted to the ICU related to COVID-19 is now 2,344. Now, each afternoon, we also take a look at the national and the global numbers. These come from Johns Hopkins University. The total number of cases of COVID-19 in the U.S. is now just under 3.8 million. That exact number is 3,794,355, and a total of 140,716 deaths have now been reported in the U.S. related to COVID-19. Now, if you take a look at the number of deaths compared to the number of known cases, that's a death rate of 3.7% in the U.S., which is down from what we've been seeing over the past weeks. We've seen that number in the 4% range. Now we're just under that at 3.7%. The US is still holding strong with the 26% of global cases and 23% of known global deaths. Globally, there are now just under 14.6 million cases of COVID-19 that have been reported. That exact number is 14,567,109. And the total number of deaths reported globally is now 607,187. So if you compare the number of reported deaths to the number of reported cases globally, we are looking at a 4.2% death rate. We're going to switch gears now and we're going to talk about some incredible medical news coming out of the Cleveland Clinic. The Cleveland Clinic is now looking for new patients for its uterus transplant trial. This is after they released information that they again successfully delivered a baby from a donor's transplanted womb. I know that sounds wild and that might be a little bit of hard to grasp mentally. We're going to walk you through it. Baby Cole was born in March after his mother, Michelle, conceived him through IVF. IVF is when they combine an egg and a sperm outside of the body. They let it grow, they let it become an embryo, they put that back in a woman's body. Well, some women don't have a functional uterus. So Michelle had someone else's uterus transplanted into her body and then had that embryo put into that uterus, and that baby successfully grew into baby Cole, who was born in March and successfully delivered. Pretty incredible. This is all part of the Cleveland Clinic trial to treat infertility that's related specifically to issues with a woman's uterus. Now, there's all kinds of issues that can happen that can require your uterus to be removed. You can also be born without a uterus. It's rare, but it does happen. And you can have it removed for all kinds of reasons, including certain types of cancer, pelvic inflammatory disease, which can result from untreated sexually transmitted infections. There's all kinds of reasons. So they're doing something about it, and they are helping people become parents that otherwise would not have been able to do that biologically because of issues with their uterus. And right now, the clinic is seeking 10 women between the ages of 21 and 39 to enroll in this program to potentially have a uterus, also known as a womb, transplanted into their body from a donor. Now, the doctors at the Cleveland Clinic became the first in the U.S. to successfully complete a uterus transplant in 2015. That's pretty incredible. That's happening right here in our own backyard in Northeast Ohio. And then it was a year later that they completed the first successful child delivery involving a transplanted womb in North America. So far, the Cleveland Clinic has completed 8 transplants, and 6 of those were successful, but 2 of them did result in hysterectomies soon after. So if that's something that you're interested in, the Cleveland Clinic is now seeking 10 new patients. Again, they're seeking women between the ages of 21 and 39 to enroll in that trial. All right, now let's turn our attention to the sports world. This week is supposed to be a big week for our Cleveland baseball team. They are supposed to play a game on Friday at Progressive Field without fans, but there's been a lot of conversation about the name of our Cleveland baseball team. Terry Francona, who is the manager of the team, his son is now saying that the team needs to do more than just change the name. So it was a couple of weeks ago that the team announced that they were having conversations related to the name and what the future of that name would be with the franchise, and manager Terry Francona said that he did support a name change. Well, his son Nick wrote an op-ed piece in GQ that was published on Friday, and he says, this is a quote from him, "Ultimately, nostalgic feelings about baseball shouldn't come at the expense of the dignity and well-being of others." He is referring to Native Americans and Indigenous people when he says that. He went on to say that changing the name is just the start. He's calling for the team to stop profiting off of the Chief Wahoo logo, which the franchise has still been doing, even though it's been retired from the stadium and the uniforms since 2018. Nick wrote in the op-ed, "It continues to appear on a wide variety of products and merchandise, which the team has said is necessary to control the trademark." Now, legally speaking, I am an attorney licensed here in Ohio and also in California. That is true. In order to control the trademark, it does have to remain in use. But you have to ask yourself this question. If the point is to stop other people from putting that logo out there, you have to ask yourself, what good does it do if our Cleveland baseball team has to put it out there in order to stop others from doing that? And that seems to be the point that Nick is getting at right here. So he goes on to say this: They should consider transferring ownership of the trademark to a group like Not Your Mascots, a nonprofit that has raised awareness about the harmful effects to Native American children as a result of sports teams appropriating their names and symbols. Now, this isn't a conversation that's happening exclusively here in Northeast Ohio. Last Monday, Washington, D.C.'s NFL team announced that they would be changing their name and would be retiring their logo after sponsors applied pressure on them and said they would have to find a new place to play football, and that this sponsorship would not continue of the Washington, D.C. NFL stadium if they did not change their name. Both our Cleveland baseball team and the D.C. NFL team announced that they were reviewing their name on the same day on July 3rd. So last Monday, we heard from the Washington, D.C. NFL team that they were changing their name. We have yet to hear what the Cleveland baseball team will do related to the future of that name. But as we said, they are expected to kick off their shortened 2020 season on Friday, July 24th. They'll be hosting the Kansas City Royals at Progressive Field, and all signs point to the fact that they will probably still be wearing the same jerseys that they've been wearing for the last very long time. Speaking of things that have been happening for a very long time, here's your fun fact of the day. 51 years ago today, Neil Armstrong and Buzz Aldrin became the first men to walk on the moon. That happened on July 20th, 1969. Obviously an incredible day. Women still have not done it though. Now, on October 18th, 2019, the first American all-female spacewalk happened. That was with astronauts Jessica Meir and Christina Cook, an absolutely incredible moment, and there is a plan for women to make it to the moon. NASA's program Artemis is hoping to send women to the moon by 2024, so in 4 years. We've waited this long, 4 more. Hopefully we'll get some women on the moon so that we can be celebrating that 51 years from that day. Let's give you an update about our virtual VelaSano fundraiser. That's an event that happened over the last weekend. This is put on by the Cleveland Clinic. Typically, it's a bike riding event where people get together, they ride bikes, they raise money. Well, Team WKYC raised almost $10,000 for Cleveland Clinic's cancer research. Absolutely incredible. There were 24 people on the team. Our 3 News investigative reporter Rachel Polanski joined me on my bike ride. We were very safe about it. We kept a safe 6-foot distance the entire time. We did a little tour de Cleveland is what we called it. We checked out the 3 Cleveland script signs in the downtown area. We went to Edgewater Beach Park, we went to Tremont, and we went to the North Coast Harbor. If you're not familiar, that is right behind the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. We shared photos of it. You can check that out on our social media platforms. Mine is _Stephanie Haney, so you can see the pictures that we took along the way. It was about 14.1 miles, and it was a pretty hot day. I also just want to thank the people who contributed to the posts that I was sharing over the week last week. I think this is pretty cool, since we are here at 3 News, that those particular donors who combined to share on the posts that I was sharing last week raised a total of $3,330. So thank you so much for participating in that. Really appreciate you. It's an incredible cause. All right, now we have one more update to share with you about our WKYC app. We have just launched the Near to Me feature. This is very cool. There are 2 great things about this feature. It gives you the stories that are happening specifically near you, and it lets you share photos and videos of things that are happening near you in real time with us so that we can share them on TV and online. All you have to do, update the app, which hopefully you already have downloaded. If you don't have that downloaded, you can download it for free if you have an iOS device in the Apple App Store or in the Google Play Store if you have an Android device. You open up the app, and in the bottom right corner, there's a little Near Me tab. You just tap on that, and you'll be able to see stories that are happening near you because we are geotagging all of our stories now. Also, if you click on the share option, then you can upload directly photos and videos right there, send them in to us with a little bit of a description about what's going on, and then we'll be able to share them on TV and online, which is incredible because we want to be able to tell your stories. That is it for our 3 News Now afternoon update for Monday, July 20th. I'll see you next at 5 p.m. on What's New with your trending stories and your entertainment news. And then I'll see you back here tomorrow morning for your morning update with 3 News Now. Everyone enjoy the rest of your afternoon. I'll see you at 5, and I'll see you back here again tomorrow. I'm Stephanie Haney.